Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Been busy I haven't posted it last week, and you probably guys noticed. So today I'm gonna try to record two videos that I wanted to record. One on the P2, I'm working on that, and then one on the P3 that you guys have been asking for. So hopefully I can get them down and post the P2 today maybe, and the P3 tomorrow or something like that. Maybe today, even tonight. We'll see how that goes, how long it will take to edit and all that. So anyways, so today's video, the first video, is gonna be on this bad boy. So I had a check engine light on this after I rebuilt it. It didn't make too much sense to me because I put everything, I checked everything, put everything back, and it had a code, I believe an ECU or ECM 1300 code, mass airflow too high detected. My first initial thought, I forgot to put a hose on or something. I checked everything, triple checked it. I take the intake off, I also replaced the hoses for the EVAP. So I thought maybe I didn't put on something right, or nothing. Also then I went to checking mass airflow sensor, cleaned it and all that is good. I had an extra one because I bought a box with the sensor also. I had an extra one, that wasn't it. So anyways, I couldn't figure out where it was until I started looking through some other stuff. So anyways, I'm going to show you guys what the code looks like on a scan tool, and then I'll go into in depth what I found. I don't know, I was kind of on a verge whether should I post this video or not, but hey, I probably will help somebody out with these engines. So here you go. All right, so this is the ECM in the ECU. That's the code, mass airflow sensor flow too high. So I just go into the engine menu and then just go continue and then click on the codes, and that's what popped up. So ECU 1300 or ECM engine control module 1300 code. And this scan tool shows specific codes, manufacturer specific codes. So if there was a code that was a manufacturer specific, let's say not generic code, let's say this guy does not read manufacturer specific codes, so this one will not tell you exactly what's wrong with the vehicle as, let's say, Volvo specific scan tool would, but this scan tool, the Various Pro, will. So if you wanted to read manufacturer specific codes, you might want to ask whether when you buy a scan tool, like even that company that I made a video on, they have a better scan tools, more expensive ones than that one, much cheaper than this one that I have, but much more expensive than that one. Is like 800 bucks, but still well worth it. You might want to get manufacturer specific codes, because those manufacturer specific scan tools that can read manufacturer specific codes will tell you exactly what's wrong with the vehicle. The same thing as VIDA would for Volvo, but this scan tool will read manufacturer specific codes for any vehicle, really. Pretty much whatever vehicle you have in here will read all of them. All manufacturer specific codes. So it won't be just a generic mass airflow code or some random code and then it will leave you guessing. This will tell you exactly what the computer is reading and what exactly it's trying to point at. So yeah, today I'm going to tell you guys what I found, why I think that code popped up, and then we'll go from there. I'll do the repair in this video, and then I'll go for a test drive, because this code, after I erase it, I start the car up, run it for a minute, shut it down, turn it on, and it would come right back up. So this is going to be really easy to diagnose whether I'm right on this repair. I don't know whether I'm right. I think I'm right. So you guys will find out with me. So I want to take you guys on this journey with me. Maybe, we'll help some of you guys out. Maybe you guys will come across this code. This will give you ideas what to check. This is not, just because you have this code, it will not mean that that's exactly what the problem is. There's a few things that are like I told you guys, what I did, what I checked before I even got to this point. So make sure you check all those things, and then whatever I'm going to be replacing, check that also. Okay, so for what we're going to be doing today, I'm going to take my intake air box with the mass airflow out so it's clear, and then I'll show you guys exactly what I found. If you guys are following my Instagram, it's a build for speed, so build FUR speed. If you guys want to check that, I posted, I believe, on my story. So anyways, I'm going to take the intake air box off, and then I'll show you guys what I found, what could be the problem. Okay, so I got the intake air box off. So you guys see the EVAP lines that was replaced. And you see that valve right there, there's one, and then there's also another one that goes to the intake manifold. It's right up there. It's the same exact valve as that. It's on this hose right here. It's right underneath there, right there, you will see it. So I'm gonna take this hose off and pull it out, and then I will show you guys what that valve does and what issue I found with it. Okay, so this goes right here. That's the hose that was hooked up right here. So I took it out from underneath, and the valve was just like that, going to the intake manifold. So you see the arrow here on that valve. So it's supposed to let air through this way, but not back. And the way I checked it, you just blow through it. Just kind of blow and suck into it. You see that? It blows, it lets blow air in and out, so it doesn't stop. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to block. It's called the EVAP check valve. This is a 3/8 size, and it lets air through both ways. So that's what lets, pretty much, it's supposed to let only one way in. So it's supposed to let air into the manifold, not from it. So when the air tries to go from the intake manifold into the intake, it's supposed to block the air, and it doesn't. So anyways, that's the issue I found. I checked that valve right there, and it's fine. That valve still does what it's supposed to, but I'm still gonna replace that one and this one here, so that way I know for sure, you know, that they're both new. And then yeah, we can proceed with the repair, and then the, you know, verifying the repair afterwards. So that way, you know, I can for sure know that they're both new, and, you know, I won't have to bother again. Because if I replace just one and then that one decides to go bad on me later, you know, I don't want to keep, you know, coming into here and replacing stuff. I already got all the hoses replaced. You can see they're new, so might as well replace the valves. It's much cheaper just to buy hoses and the valves online and replace all that than just buying, because the hose with these check valves from any store is like $100-something. This and the hoses probably cost me maybe 20 tops. So anyways, yeah, so I'm gonna repair that, replace those, and I'm gonna show you guys which ones I bought online. You can't find any exactly like these. They don't have to look exactly the same. They just have to be a check valve that lets air through one way and not the other. So that's pretty much all you're looking for, and you're looking for the size 3/8. So that's what I found. I'm gonna replace them, and yeah, we'll go from there. So these are the check valves that I found, the 3/8. That's the only ones I could find. They look much smaller than this one right here, but they do pretty much the same thing. The only thing I was looking for is the 3/8. It's really hard to find ones with the 3/8 hose hookup. And this you can use for fuel, gas, liquid, air, and all that. Anyway, so you can use it for any application. I'm gonna use it for air, obviously, vacuum. So yeah, that's gonna be it right there. It's much smaller, but yeah, it's what I'm looking for, and I think that's gonna work. I bought 4 of these for I think like $10 on Amazon. I'm gonna include a link to that in this video, obviously, if it works. So anyways, yeah, that's what I'm gonna put into here. You can see it's the right size for the hose and everything. So you can't find any of these 3/8 in the stores. You can find smaller ones, but not this size. So these you're probably gonna have to order on Amazon or wherever, you know, where I ordered it from. So yeah, as you guys can see, I got the check valve. It's quite a bit smaller. I mean, the diameter of it for the flow, that right there, the inside flow, that's what you care about, has to be the same 3/8. You don't want to cut that flow to 1/4 inch or 5/16 or anything like that. So the flow is the same through it, but this whole thing, I mean, this was 2004. Right now it's 2021, so I'm sure the technology advanced. But anyways, that's what that looks like right there. And then I put one up there too, so I replaced both of them. So now I'm gonna put it all back together, start the car up, let it run for a minute, shut it off. Do that a couple times, because last time after I ran it for a minute, shut it off, turn it back on, it came right on. So I didn't even have to run it for long. So today we're gonna shut it off, turn it on a couple times, and then we're gonna go for a drive, come back and shut it off, turn it on. So we're gonna verify the repair, make sure that code doesn't come back. So if this fixes it, cool. There's gonna be a cheap way to replace the EVAP hoses. Just get a bulk 3/8 hose, air hose, and then check valves, and just replace all of it. It's gonna be much cheaper. And if you guys have this code, you know, this will give you an idea what to check. Check all your hoses. This is the hoses that I checked, and then you want to check this hose that goes to the wastegate and all the lines pretty much before, and your mass airflow, you want to clean it and all that. If you have another one, swap it, and to verify, make sure that's not it. So yeah, or you can just unplug it. Either way, yeah. Anyways, so we put it together. Now I'm gonna put the intake back on there and clear the codes, and I'm gonna start the car up, run it a few times, and then go for a drive. I got it all back together. So I'm gonna shut the hood, and we're gonna go in the car. All right. So now I'm gonna turn the ignition on. My scan tool is on, so I'm gonna turn the ignition on, and I'm gonna clear the codes. Ignition on. Go back here. Wait a few seconds. Right there, okay. Let it, and then I'm gonna clear the codes. Codes clear. I'm gonna verify that I cleared them. No codes. Perfect. So now I'm gonna shut the car off, turn the ignition on, wait a few seconds. You don't want to start it right away after you clear the codes. Wait a few seconds, give them, and then start the car up. Okay, so now I'm gonna let it run for a minute. I'm gonna, yeah, and then shut it off, turn it back on, and I'm gonna check, make sure, you know, there's no codes in the system and no check engine light pops up. Okay, so that didn't fix my issue. I fixed the issue that the valve was bad. The valve is good now, but the check engine light came back on. So I checked everything else. I checked all the hoses, the intake pipe, everything. So next thing I'm gonna have to check is wiring, because when I was doing the engine, I just kind of put the wiring to a side. So I mean, the wiring is old, so something could have cracked, so maybe something is shorting in the wiring. But yeah, that's my next stop. I'm gonna be looking at the wiring, and I'm gonna try to fix it in this video. So yeah, I'll let you guys come along, and we'll see if we can figure it out in this video. Okay, so I took apart the wiring for the mass airflow, and I found these right here. If you can see, they're not quite broken. I don't know if that could cause the issue, but anyways, there's few of them, like half of them are broken in here, so maybe that could. So I got some shrink butt connectors, so I'm gonna cut that wire, you know, clean it, and just put a butt connector in between, just like that, in those wires, and repair them that way, and see if that fixes the issue. So the one that had the wiring broken, I cut it and I put a splice in it. The rest of them I just put some shrink wrap over them where just the rubber piece was broken. So I just put that and shrink wrapped it, so now it's all solid. So I'm gonna put it together, wrap it, and I'm gonna look through some more wiring around here where I was working, where I was taking the head apart, you know, what I could have damaged when, you know, when I folded it, where could have maybe some wiring cracked or something. And or maybe I forgot to put a ground somewhere, to be honest. I don't know. I'm gonna look at some wiring, make sure I have all the grounds, everything hooked up, and yeah, we'll go from there. As you guys can see, there's a connector that's supposed to go on the intake pipe. I put it on the connector, but it wasn't snapped in. I got it with my fingers, kind of came right off. So that connector was not plugged in. So I first noticed there's like some wiring, because it was like, it's in a position where it's bent, and like the wiring insulation kind of broke on it, but it's not damaged, you know, it's not ripped off. I'm gonna put it back on there, actually clip it on now, and yeah, hopefully that fixes the problem. And then in the future I'll take the intake pipe, take everything out, and I'll actually just re-insulate the wiring or something, just kind of cover, make sure it's the insulation is, but the wiring seems fine, it's pretty strong. So yeah, I'm gonna plug that back in. The connector just goes on an intake pipe on the bottom, on some sort of sensor under there. Got it all back together. Let's go clear all the codes and let's give it another shot. Hopefully this works. Hopefully that fixed it. All right. Well, That did not fix it. A brake pedal that was always there, that code is still there. Check engine light did come on. So, oh boy, I'm kind of struggling here. I'm starting to think that this video is probably not gonna be a video where I go and, you know, and start the diagnosis and finish it. I may have to go into just wiring diagrams and just following the wires or something. I don't know. If this ends up being not a video, you know, that I complete this, comment in the comments below what you guys think when I pulled the head, what I might have removed or unplugged, or if there was a ground somewhere for that I could have not put on or something like that, or what could it be, you know, because of that. I checked all the hoses, everything is good now. Well, yeah, everything seems to be plugged in. To be honest, I don't know. I don't know where it could be. Checked everything. So I'm just gonna have to dig into it deeper, because yeah, right now I'm kinda stuck. Okay, so what I'm looking at right now is boost pressure inch HG 29.53, so that's like almost 14, almost 15 psi. And then when I floor it, it jumps to 35 point some, the 33, 35, anyways, jumps to like 17 psi. And then my engine speed right now idling, it's warm, the car is warm, 840. I don't know if it uses those two values to determine the code, why it throws the code, because I mean, Brendan had this car programmed to run at a manual, so at 15 psi instead of the 10 that this automatics are set at 10 psi, compared to the manuals, they're set at 15. But I mean, I didn't have this code when the engine was bad, like, you know, when the head was warped before, and I didn't have this code. I'm wondering if it has to do with the tuning or something, because that the boost pressure is so high up now. You know, it's 15 psi compared to the 10 before. I wonder if it's if it maybe is that, but I don't know, because like I said, it didn't have that issue before. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, my my head was warped, it was leaking, so I don't know. To be honest, I'm kind of confused right now. I don't know what the deal is with this. If anybody knows, comment in the comments below what you guys think it is. Everything seems fine, ambient air temperature, and my mass airflow kgh is 1205, and then when I floor it, it just goes down a little bit. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with this thing. I don't know if I'm gonna continue on this, because I want to record a video on the P3. I mean, it started raining right now a little bit, so maybe when it's a little drier, I'll go do a video on the P3. I don't know if I want to waste too much time on this car today. We'll see. Okay, so I'm just checking continuity in the green wire from the mass airflow sensor to the fuse box. It is good, as you guys can see. There's continuity in that, so there's no break in that wire there. So that's what I wanted to see, if that was the case, because I just found a wiring diagram online. As you guys can see right here, there's a green wire that goes to the connector right there. For mass airflow, it's a green wire that goes there. There's a few other ones. There's two of them, green and white, and I don't know what color that is. Violet, I think, that goes to the ECU, to the ECM. And then there's also one, I believe, that goes violet and white, that goes to the ground. I'm curious, I think that's the ground, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna have to check that. So I'm making last effort. I repaired the wiring that goes to the sensor on the intake pipe right by the turbo. I swapped the MAF sensors, mass airflow sensors again, the one I had an extra one. Clear the codes, I'm gonna run it again. If it's still the same problem, I'm gonna drop it for today. And I'm just gonna end this video, and hopefully maybe you guys, some of you guys had experience with this thing. You guys can see I cleared the codes. No codes in the system. Let's start it up. Okay, I started it up, and let's just go right away and see if there's any codes. Yep, look. It pops out really fast, and it does it with both mass airflow sensors. They're both used, but I don't know, what are the chances of bad mass airflow sensor? Because usually, or unless there's something shorted, or I don't know, to be honest, I don't know. I looked at the wiring seemed fine. To the sensor, there's continuity also in the wires from the sensor to the fuse box. I don't know, and this started happening after the rebuild, so I don't know. It just says ECM-1300 code, mass airflow sensor, flow too high. I don't know, not sure. If you guys have any idea, let me know in the comments below. But I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I mean, right when I start the car, it pops up. I repaired all the wiring that I saw could be suspicious, and yeah. For right now, I don't know what the deal is. I didn't have this code before I did the rebuild, and I didn't really do much, you know, I didn't take much out of there. I just took the head out, I just put everything aside, and I don't know, to be honest. If any of you guys are Volvo techs, or you know somebody that saw this, you know, comment in the comments below what you guys think, or tell them to comment what should I check that I didn't check from what you saw in the video. So I'm gonna end this video here. If you guys know anybody that works on these Volvos, I haven't had too much experience besides since I started the channel, and you guys saw when I had experience with these cars, but this kind of code I never had experience. And I looked through the wiring. Is there some sort of ground on the engine that's that I should check for the mass airflow sensor? Because it pops up the second you start the car up. The code is in the system after you clear it, and it only happens when you start it up. When you turn the ignition on, you clear it and you check the codes, it doesn't show anymore. So when you start the car up, that's when it pops up. So I don't know what the deal is with this car. I'm starting to get a little annoyed, you know. I'm good with my P3 and never had any issues, no lights, and it's been awesome. This is a project, obviously I bought it mainly for content and something to, you know, get into, maybe fix it up for to be my work car or something, or a fun car. But this is turning around now a little bit annoying right now. So if any of you guys know, or know anybody that has some experience with this, what I should check or look into, let me know. But that's gonna be it for this video, for this car. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and as usual, see you next time.